Welcome to our presentation. We want to show you how we got from the electronic voting system to open government data. So real quick, what is today's agenda? So first, how does the parliament work? Then how do we get the data? It's a bit easier as for Felix. We want to dive into data real quick with Beat Jans and Nemo. And we want to also show you why this data is important, what challenges we had, and also what else you can do with this data. So, how does the parliament work? It's a lot to read, but it's quite easy. It all revolves around the parliament members. So the parliament members are members of committees. This is one data set. They are members of interest groups outside of the parliament. This is another data set. And the members of the parliament are, and committees are originators of parliament proceedings or matters, Geschäfte in German. This is another data set. The proceedings are assigned to the Executive Council, the Regierungsrat, the Parliament, and to other committees. This is another data set. And the Parliament proceedings have documents, processes, and meetings. This is 3 data sets. And the members of the Parliament vote on these proceedings if they get important to vote on. Not all proceedings are voted on, but some of them. This is another 2 data sets. Okay, these are the 10 data sets. The first 9 data sets are, as Felix said, the best way to get data from an API. And the live voting results, if you really want to know, it's 3 different kind of sources. We all have to kind of get them together. They have to kind of look similar, although they don't. And yeah. Okay, so let's dive into the data. These are the 10 data sets that I mentioned. And the titles are English, the rest isn't. Yeah. Okay, so we are interested in the members of the parliament. Here, Grand Council memberships. And you see there are 100 members of the parliament, and we have this kind of data, but we are interested just in one of them. Our Bundesrat, Beat Jans. Okay, so he was a member of the parliament once. He isn't anymore, of course. And as you see, some of the data isn't followed on anymore. What party he's in and what place he lives in, Basel. And this is because they can't follow this. So we can look at the page of the parliament, what they have published. And we can also see what committees he was in, just to see when he was in the parliament. And we can see what proceedings he published. So this might be most important. We can also see what proceedings are ongoing and which are probably already closed and handled upon. This one probably gets voted on if it's this long in the parliament. This is Anzug Beat Jans und Konsorten betreffend Planung eines bahnbrechenden Ökostadtteils am Hafen. So they want to do some ecological thing on the harbor. Then you see, if we go there, you see that we have Beat Jans like several times, but we have the ID of Beat Jans here. So we could just have this one and then link it back to the page where he is a member of the parliament. This would be enough because we have the data all there, but we kind of want one guy or one person, if one person just wants to get this data set, that he has all the information and doesn't have to be kind of have to get together normalized data or some things. So let's get to the live voting results. There are pretty much of them since 2019, but we are just interested in one again, and this is the Eurovision Song Contest. The important thing here is that the Parliament voted on if the Eurovision Song Contest should be in Basel, and they had to have 2/3 of the people to vote on yes, and we know 74 is more than 66, and they voted yes. Now you can see who voted no, who voted yes, and then vote for or against them in the next Abstimmung.
Hi everyone. So, yeah, thanks. So why should you have these data sets? Because they are high-value data sets. This is a definition by the European Commission. What does that mean exactly? High-value data sets means that they bring a greater benefit to either the economy, the environment, or the society. And we can see with these data sets, it's definitely a greater benefit for society. Why? We can look at voting behavior. We can see in the data sets, black and white, okay, how did the politician that I vote for, how did they vote? Did they even vote? Is also a question. This means we can actually see in the data sets, we can see what they voted, if they were there, and this gives us transparency. We can also hold them accountable. If they didn't vote the way they said they would, I won't vote for this politician next time. Like Orhan said, we can see, are they members of an interest group? What is their job? Are they still working, or what did they work as? This shows us what is their motivation, what kind of experience do they have. For example, if I'm interested in a politician who is in the Green Party, and I see this person is a member of an interest group that is interested in petrol, for example, I won't vote for this person again. We can also see what kind of political work are they doing. Is this person really doing initiatives? Are they working in committees, or are they just chilling at home watching Netflix? This again, we can see it black and white in these data sets. We can see, okay, they are actually doing something, and we can hold them accountable again. Am I going to vote for them again next time or not? We also had some fun with these data sets. We had a lot of ideas, and we decided to also look at the absences. So we wanted to know, are they really actually showing up? Are they doing their job or not? And as you can see here, we can see the different political parties and the relative frequency. And we can see here, this is the Green Alternative Party, was the least absent since 2012. And we can see here the Fractionless Party, they were missing every fourth session. You might know a guy here who's really embarrassing to the whole canton of Basel-Stadt. This is probably mainly him, so yeah. Also, what we can tell is no real pattern. There's not like a difference between left-wing or right-wing parties. It's pretty random. There were many challenges, technical challenges for Orhan, and for me there were lots of analytical challenges to these data sets because they are very complex. For example, like Orhan said, it was difficult to kind of find out, is this data set user-friendly? Will the data user really understand what this data set, what kind of information is in it or not? As Orhan also said, we had so many different data points, it was like difficult to then kind of decide, okay, what kind of subjects do we want, what kind of information do we want to put together, and which should be separate. You need to have a certain level, shall we say, of political and data literacy. You need to understand there are political lists. Parties have merged and separated. There are different kinds of sessions, different kinds of proceedings. And you need to have some level of data literacy as well. You need to be able to know the pre-processing steps, rearrange, rename attributes. So they are complex data sets. as Orhan also said, there's a lot of there was unstructured data, lots of different formats. It was difficult to really know, is this plausible or not? And then, not such an uncommon issue, missing values. There were years missing, and also we found out only by contacting the data owner, they suddenly decided to change the definition of an election. At the beginning of the years, they would call the final vote, and now these last few years they decided it's just called the vote. So yeah, it was challenges like that was difficult. So we were thinking of like, what else is there? What other interesting things could you do maybe? If you also have these data sets, we were wondering you could look at specific politicians and see, okay, which politicians are really showing initiatives and which ones aren't. You could do the same for the political party. You could also do topic modeling, which is a lot of fun. So you could see, okay, which kind of politicians, what are they interested in and what not. We have work colleagues who did this last year, and they didn't have the data sets that we have today. So it'd be interesting to do that again. And then you could also look at re-election strategies. There are strategies nowadays where a lot of politicians, they want to be re-elected because they have a really high chance to be re-elected, or you have a high chance to be elected if you've already been in parliament. And what a lot of politicians do is that they say they want to be re-elected, they have a high chance to win, they win the seat, but then they don't actually accept the win, and they give it to the next person on the list. That way, you can see that there are these strategies, and you could see, okay, which party does this more and which party does this less. So yeah, we hope you'll also do this, and maybe you could also find some similar results like we did.